Cold Steel Finn Wolf. It is a folding, lightweight, folding, affordable bushcraft type knife. I say type because you can't do everything with it, but you can certainly carve stuff, and it's got the triad lock, so it's very strong. Like, once you have this thing opened and locked, very solid. No movement whatsoever. Had it for about 2 years. Haven't even adjusted the pivot. Haven't taken it apart. Haven't needed to. Pretty durable knife. So what it is, 3.4 ounce, 3.5 inch blade. According handle length. I don't know what it overall is, or the handle length actually, but it's a little under ½ inch, probably thick, maybe around ½ inch. Nicely rounded, chamfered. And then they put a little structure on there. I don't know if you could pick that up, but it's not smooth. Get a little traction. Very nice. Very nicely balanced as well. It's got kind of a finger choil slot, basically, so you can just get at that thumb stud. Not a problem. You get at it with your thumb or your finger. Pretty light action on it for a triad lock. It's pretty nice. So, going rate for these boys online is $35 or so, give or take. I did see there's different colors. I think the different colors have different prices, but I think you can get red. I just think that they're good because they're high vis. Like this blue is high vis. I just dropped, as an example, this yesterday, and I was able to track back to where I was to find it. And this is more a companion. So it's a Scandi, just like that. 3 3/4 inch blade. I think I paid $12 for this a couple years ago. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a little comparison. So 3.4 ounces, Aus 8A, cold steel. Had good luck with it. Sharpening wise, I just use triangle rods on for my sharp maker, and I can either put them in the sharp maker to do it and just run it down, or I can just do it freehand. So either way, obviously if you're using the machine, you have to, or the device, you have to lay it over a little bit to get it to, or cock it. However, you have to work to, but it's really easy to find the bevel and then run it down. So use the medium, fine, extra fine, and then maybe even strap it up on the belts a little bit if you want to. One issue though, and you will run into this, is the studs actually get in the way of sharpening. So I can, for the most part, get away with it, at least for now. And I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up, but there's kind of you can see kind of a line of demarcation right here. So I bring the stones in at an angle. So I miss the thumb stud, but they come in at an angle, and I can get the whole edge, but I'm missing up in here. So eventually I'm going to have to take those off to get to it. And I don't know what it'd be like using a flat stone, but or a bench stone. It's an awesome knife though, $35. As far as ergonomics go, I mean, especially for $35. I can't say they're perfect, but I can't say that they're not perfect. There's absolutely no hot spots on here. You can feel the clip a little bit, but it falls into the kind of in between your knuckles there. Whether you're choked back like that, or I generally, if I'm yarding on stuff, I get up like this, either like this, right on that guard, or maybe even sometimes maybe a little bit in front of it. Kind of have to be careful when you do that, but it's pretty nice. And the good thing about that is this little hook back here, or whatever you want to call it, it's not sharp or anything, but, and I've never had an issue with this knife, but I think if you were to hold it back there like that, it could start to rub on your pinky, the side of your pinky a little bit. You'll run into that, perhaps. So just kind of choke up on it. And then even if you're, using the full grip, I don't know. I haven't had a problem with it. No hot spots at all. Spot on as far as ergos go. Very happy with the Aus 8A steel. It doesn't last forever. What I do though is I use those, like I said, I use those rods, get that the Scandi in there, and then I'll go ahead, and if I have my sharp maker with me, or if I'm doing this at home, out in the field I don't even bother with it. But at home I'll go ahead and put a 15-degree micro bevel, little micro bevel in there. It seems to help with any kind of chipping you get on the edge, or little nicks. So 3.4 ounces. I don't know, I've said that several times. 3.5 inch blade, I don't know, 1/8 inch stock, 3.5 millimeter stock. So a couple comparisons I have for that are the Griptilian. That's these going rate for these online is $110 it looks like for non-coated blade. Probably some more if you want it coated. This is D2. They come with the S30V. And then also I went ahead and brought this guy along too. It's got some pitch on it. Actually got little spots on it. I used a handy wipe to wipe off pitch last time, and ended up kind of leaving little orange marks all over both sides of the blade, little spots. So what I did was I just took a piece of pine with bark on it, and I just stripped the bark off, and as I did that, it kind of removed those little rust spots that were starting. It's kind of weird, being that this is 20 CV, it's supposed to be highly stainless. It must have been citrus in those wipes, kind of, sanitary wipes or whatever they're called. You get little packets. I used one of those, like alcohol swab, basically is what it was, and it ended up leaving little marks. Anyway, so getting back to this. So comparison wise between the three anyway, and let's keep, so this got the triad lock. Let's keep in perspective the price on this. Plastic Grivex handle, plastic Grivery handle. I think those are just trademark names. I don't know, that probably a little bit difference in the makeup, but they're both plastic. So $110, $35. And if you get one of these in S30V, this one just happens to be 20 CV. Looks like a going rate's 113. So the only knife here that has G10 is this one. The rest of these are plastic. However, hold on a second, get a little drink of coffee. However, ergonomically, these are very close. I think they both have qualities. They differ a little bit. This one, things on this that I don't like necessarily are, it does have these little jimping. And they're not too comfortable, but when I'm actually using this high torque cutting on wood, generally I'm choked up here anyway, and you can see I'm totally missing that. But point being, I don't need those, and that's just going to hit if anything, it's going to rub your pinky, and that kind of sucks. Also, they're back here too, so if you're choked up, you're still going to get a little of these. That doesn't seem to bother me. These ones back here, though, they don't bother me either, but I can feel them, and they just don't need to be there, but they are, so it is what it is. These don't bother me at all, and up here, those are probably fine. They don't bother me at all, even when I'm really yarding on stuff. Whereas, and I don't know exactly whose idea it was, but these jimping, the liner sticks up above the G10, which would make sense because that's your jimping. It'd have been cool if the jimping was actually part of the G10 maybe, and it'd eventually wear in, but it's metal there, metal down here. Yeah, so you got it here, and you can't avoid it. Like you can, even when you choke up, you're not going to avoid that on your pinky. And then this is always, so you'll feel it. It is kind of uncomfortable. And then the sharp jimping here on the blade. I mean, you'll get it. It's kind of hits pressure points, I think, on my hand at least, the way I cut. Does add traction. I suppose if you wore gloves with it, it'd be fine. Also, just the shape of the handle, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense. But like, I don't have it with me, but like the Recon 1, it has finger grooves. Generally, I don't like finger grooves, but it has finger grooves. But actually, when you're using that, it actually feels like they're benefiting you because your hand's not moving around at all. Like you don't have to squeeze or anything. You can just cut. And as you're cutting, it's actually giving you support and actually extra torque, and you don't have to squeeze so hard, and you're not going to slide, so you're not going to get hot spots, your hand doesn't get fatigued, and you actually get more power. And on that hand, and that knife is perfect for me, in my opinion, because even when I'm choked up on like this on that knife, and it doesn't have a finger groove, but it does have the, the blade, the dull part of the blade, the tang. You can actually grip it just like this, and it's perfect that way. And then even when you're back in a normal grip, it's perfect that way too. Don't have it with me, probably a bad example, but I just think they did a better job of that than this. Now this, I do like this knife. It's got a lot of, I love the blade on it and everything. I mean, I'm not bagging on the knife. It's just got some ergonomic issues that I'm pointing out. And to kind of bring that back in order, I did bring my Parrot 3, which I actually love this knife. I used to have a Parrot 2. I gave it away to my brother. I'll probably end up getting another one at some point. But I think the difference, for me personally, I take one of these over this. There's things about this that I do like. I do like the lock on it better than that, the compression lock. But for some reason, even though the compression lock is up top here, and that you will be contacting it when you're cutting, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, nothing here really bothers me. The way that the finger choil with the jimping on it, and like the thumb ramp deal here with the hole, it doesn't really ever affect me. It probably, benefits me if I was going to cut like this, and it does not affect me negatively when I'm like this, whereas that one does. For whatever reason, it does affect me. I like the military too. So if I could, let's just say I would take a paramilitary 2 over this for this kind of work. And it's all about 3.5-inch blade, folding pocket knives that you can use outside, kind of like work style knives, or in this case, bushcraft knives. So getting back to this, sorry I kind of got off topic though. It's great. It's a great, these Scandi ground blades are great for carving on wood, little like, building stuff out of wood, carving stuff, maybe tent stakes. If you're going to make anything around the fire for like a spit or like some sticks, some posts and such like that, which I've done. I mean, they're really very convenient. You don't have to be packing around a big old fixed blade to do that. This is nice. This is actually 2.5 ounces, I believe. Extremely lightweight. I think the steel on this is better on the cold steel. The cold steel is actually better than what Mora provides. I'll do a review on it here in the next, or a video on it in the next couple days. I do have a Spyderco Bushcraft fixed blade that I really like. I picked up a year ago on closeout that I've always been looking at, but it was way out of anything I wanted to pay. So I'll probably do a video on that because I use that quite a bit, as much as possible. But if I'm just going to be like hiking around stuff, I don't want to have a Scandi ground blade with me, because these things, I mean, they're superior over a regular old flat grind as far as wood goes. Obviously, for everyday work and everything, like this blade shape, I kind of like even more than that, because it's got a sharper, more acute tip, for digging splinters out, etc. But this one itself, it's got a pretty decent tip. And I mean, honestly, like the grip tilling does as well. I mean, that's pretty. Keep that thing sharp. You can dig splinters with that. It's for piercing, it's plenty sharp. But that one's just even more so. So, yeah. I mean, to get back to the ergonomic part, though, if anybody watches that has not picked up one of these and does enjoy carving and stuff like it, I don't know, backpacking knife, it's going to be fine. Probably not great for, like, if you're going to cut fruit and vegetables, kitchen type stuff. But if it's with meat, though, I mean, I think it'd be fine, unless you're like, you don't want to use it to fillet with. This would be the worst knife to fillet with, I would believe. But you can gut a fish with it, skin a fish with it. Same with small birds, no problem. And then, like, if you did have, I don't know, if you're on a campfire at your camp and you had a steak, this would cut it just fine. It's not good probably not a good slicer for like fruit and vegetables and stuff. And you can use, probably my choice here would be this, because it's flat, completely flat ground. Oh, speaking of which, I'm packing this thing again. Just very happy with that. This one's cut some meat. It's like my barbecue knife my steak knife from last winter. It's done more than that, but case in point, even that wedgy thing, and I'm not, no insult to the blade, because this thing is durable. Very thick, very strong. Like I could slice meat with this as well. Cooked meat. raw meat, whatever. So that's pretty much all I got. Definitely highly impressed with this guy. Use it quite a bit. Easy, super easy to sharpen. And there are more expensive. Like I also have a Tops Fieldcraft folder. It's called. It's like a couple $100 knife. It's beautiful. I'll do an update on that too because I carry that as well. And it did not come with a full Scandi, so I am currently still trying to get that rectified. As soon as I do, though, I'll shoot a video on it. But for 35 bucks, if you're on the fence about these or you want to get into using a Scandi ground and then sharpening it, it's probably good work. It's kind of like what I did, started with this. Actually, I think I got this one first. But learn how to sharpen it, kind of work out the kinks in your technique on something like this before you get something really nice, because there's like, I wouldn't mind getting a Heli or a Hella or whatever they're, however you say it. They make very nice knives. They're kind of expensive. I think they're made in Finland. And then there's another brand or two that are also Scandinavian companies that make nice folding Scandi ground knives that, you know, get something like this just to see if it's kind of like what you're after. If it is, maybe spend some more and get one of those. Practice sharpening on this, and that's kind of like what I'm doing. But cool knife. Come in separate different colors. You know, they do have, I don't think they have a black one, but they do have a drab green, which I do like. I got this one simply because I knew I was going to drop it at some point. And that's what I did with this, the same thing. And it was very easy to find today. I couldn't find it on the way back out yesterday, but I found it today on the way out here. So kind of all of these are kind of high vis, except for this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was somewhat informational, not too garbled. Have a good day. Thank you.